Hello, spicy ladies. The moment you stop trying to be what others expect you to be is the moment you start becoming who you were meant to be. If you've ever been called too blunt, too independent, or too intimidating, chances are you're not the so-called nice girl. You're something much rarer. You're a Sigma female. A woman who doesn't live by the script society hands out, who doesn't bend over backward to please people who wouldn't do the same for you, and who doesn't water herself down to make others comfortable. The world likes to put women into two categories: the sweet, agreeable, nice girl, and the cold, heartless, mean girl. But you don't fit into either. You are kind, but only when it's deserved. You are strong, but not at the expense of your softness. And most importantly, you are real, never faking emotions to fit in or playing small to be liked. This isn't about being rude or rebellious for the sake of it. It's about living on your terms, setting your own standards, and refusing to shrink for anyone. And if that makes some people uncomfortable, so be it. A Sigma female doesn't need permission to exist as she is. These 10 reasons will remind you why you don't owe the world a nice girl version of yourself. You owe it the real you. Let's get started. Number 1, they don't confuse weakness for niceness. Most people are taught that being nice means being agreeable, accommodating, and self-sacrificing. But there's a fine line between kindness and weakness, and a Sigma female refuses to blur it. She doesn't believe in putting herself last just to make others comfortable. She knows that true kindness isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about having the strength to do what's right, even when it's not easy. A typical nice girl might bite her tongue when she's disrespected, let others take advantage of her generosity, or say yes when she really wants to say no, all because she fears being seen as rude or difficult. But a Sigma female doesn't fall into that trap. She understands that if kindness comes at the cost of her self-respect, it's no longer kindness. It's self-betrayal. She is generous, but not a doormat. She is understanding, but she won't tolerate manipulation. And she is compassionate, but not at the expense of her own well-being. If someone expects her to tolerate disrespect in the name of being nice, they will be sorely disappointed. She has no problem setting boundaries that make weak people uncomfortable. This is what sets her apart. She doesn't base her worth on how many people approve of her. She doesn't chase validation by overextending herself, and she certainly doesn't mistake passivity for kindness. A Sigma female will help you if you need it, but if you try to take advantage of her, she will walk away without hesitation. Many people are confused by this. They expect all women to play by the same outdated rules, to be endlessly patient, endlessly giving, endlessly available. But a Sigma female knows that the strongest women aren't the ones who please everyone. They're the ones who know when to say enough. That's not weakness, that's power. Number 2, they're not afraid to burn bridges that deserve to be burned. Most people are terrified of burning bridges. They stay in toxic friendships, exhausting relationships, and one-sided connections simply because they fear confrontation or being seen as mean. They hold on, hoping things will change, even when the proof is right in front of them that they won't. But a Sigma female doesn't live that way. She understands something most people refuse to accept. Not every bridge is worth keeping. If a connection is draining, manipulative, or toxic, she won't hesitate to cut ties. She doesn't cling to people out of guilt, nostalgia, or obligation. If someone shows her repeatedly that they don't respect her, they don't get access to her. It's that simple. Some people mistake this for ruthlessness, but it's actually self-respect in action. A Sigma female isn't cruel, but she is clear. She knows that keeping toxic people around isn't an act of kindness, it's an act of self-sabotage. And she refuses to sacrifice her peace for the sake of maintaining appearances. She doesn't believe in fixing people who thrive on dysfunction. She doesn't play the role of emotional caretaker for those who refuse to take responsibility for themselves. She's not here to heal broken people who don't want to be healed. She's here to grow, evolve, and protect her energy. And when she walks away, she doesn't do it with drama or theatrics. No angry speeches, no unnecessary explanations, just a quiet, decisive exit. Because she doesn't owe anyone a performance. This is what makes her different. While others exhaust themselves trying to hold together what's already falling apart, She lets go and moves forward. Not because she doesn't care, but because she refuses to waste her life on people who don't deserve a front row seat to it. And that's not heartlessness, that's wisdom. Number 3, they can't be controlled by guilt or expectations. Sigma females have an uncanny ability to block out guilt and the expectations others try to impose on them. It's not that they're heartless or unkind. It's just that they know their worth and don't allow themselves to be manipulated into doing things they don't want to do. Nice girls often find themselves trapped in a cycle of pleasing others, sacrificing their own needs and comfort to avoid conflict or feel liked. But Sigma females don't let guilt get the best of them. Imagine being in a situation where everyone expects you to stay late at work, help someone who isn't really your responsibility, or attend an event you're not interested in, all because society says you should, or because someone lays on the guilt trip. A Sigma female sees right through it. She won't feel pressured to apologize for saying no. She won't feel bad for prioritizing her peace or walking away from situations that don't serve her. She understands that saying no is a form of self-respect, and that's something she will always choose over conforming to external expectations. The strength of a Sigma female lies in her clarity of purpose. She isn't swayed by the emotional manipulation tactics others use to guilt trip her into action. She weighs every decision logically, asking herself, does this serve my purpose? Does this align with my values? If the answer is no, she's gone, no hesitation, no guilt, just pure clarity. She doesn't seek validation from others because her validation comes from within. If someone doesn't like her decision or feels disappointed, that's their issue, not hers. It's not about being ruthless. It's about having enough respect for yourself to set boundaries and stick to them. Sigma females make it clear, your expectations and emotional games won't control me. Number 4, they don't suffer fools. Sigma females have a unique approach to how they spend their time, and they don't suffer fools. In a world where people often engage in shallow small talk just to fill space, Sigma females refuse to waste a single moment on things that don't matter. They have little patience for fake smiles, shallow conversations, or people who drain their energy. For a Sigma female, time is one of the most valuable commodities. She understands that energy can be easily depleted by toxic people or fruitless discussions, so she chooses her company wisely. If someone isn't contributing meaningfully to her life, or if a conversation is simply a surface-level exchange that doesn't align with her interests or growth, she won't engage. There's no room for shallow interactions in her world. When it comes to debates or arguments, Sigma females aren't interested in playing games. They won't entertain pointless discussions just to win points or engage in empty banter. If someone is unwilling to evolve or see things from a different perspective, she won't waste her breath trying to change their mind. She's not about being right, she's about growth. If you're not actively working on becoming a better version of yourself, you'll quickly find that a Sigma female doesn't have time for you. This isn't about being rude or mean. It's about setting boundaries and being intentional with the energy she expends. Sigma females know their worth, and they know that their time and energy are best spent on people who inspire them, challenge them, or align with their values. They're not interested in fake relationships or keeping up appearances. At the end of the day, Sigma females believe that growth is the key to everything. If you're not striving to improve or elevate yourself, you simply won't make the cut. They value depth, authenticity, and evolution. If you bring anything less than that, don't expect a place in their life. Number 5, they don't feel obligated to be polite to everyone. Sigma females have no time for fake pleasantries, especially when they're faced with disrespect. They don't feel obligated to be polite to everyone, especially when it's clear someone is crossing boundaries or treating them poorly. Nice girls might smile through a rude comment, hoping to keep the peace, but not the Sigma female. For her, respect is non-negotiable. If someone is being disrespectful, she won't pretend it's okay just to avoid conflict. She'll either call them out on their behavior or walk away. The thing about Sigma females is that they know their worth, and they don't tolerate disrespect in any form. Politeness doesn't equal weakness for them. If someone is rude or dismissive, they won't simply brush it off. Instead of faking a smile or pretending nothing happened, they'll make it clear that they won't accept being treated badly. Whether it's confronting the situation head-on or stepping away completely, they handle disrespect in the way that serves them best. This isn't about starting a fight or making drama. It's about maintaining their own peace and dignity. Sigma females value themselves too much to stick around in situations where their worth is questioned or undermined. They understand that their time and energy are precious, and they're not going to waste it on people who don't treat them with the respect they deserve. In a world where nice girls are often expected to grin and bear mistreatment, Sigma females choose to walk away from toxic energy. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They simply refuse to waste time being polite for the sake of it. They know that true peace comes from being around people who respect them, and they won't settle for anything less. Number 6, they make themselves the prize. Sigma females don't need to chase attention. They don't play the game of seeking constant validation or scrambling for someone's affection. While nice girls often feel the need to prove their worth through actions and approval seeking, Sigma females operate on an entirely different level. They make themselves the prize. Instead of desperately seeking attention, they focus on what truly matters: self-improvement, success, and independence. They understand that true power doesn't come from chasing people. It comes from building a life so fulfilling and intriguing that others can't help but be drawn to it. They don't try to impress anyone. They focus on becoming the best version of themselves. And in doing so, they naturally attract people who value them for who they truly are. The key here is action. Sigma females don't beg for loyalty. They don't engage in emotional games or attempt to manipulate others into staying. Instead, their actions speak louder than any words ever could. They show their worth by being the kind of person who's not only strong but resilient, who pursues goals relentlessly, and who creates their own path in life. They earn respect, loyalty, and admiration not through pleading, but through the sheer force of their character. This is what sets them apart. Sigma females don't need to beg or plead for love and loyalty. They command it by being their authentic, unshakable selves. Their independence is magnetic. They don't settle. They don't lower their standards. And they never compromise their values for anyone. This doesn't mean they don't value relationships or loyalty. It means they don't chase it. They trust that the right people will naturally be drawn to their confidence and strength, and those are the people they'll choose to keep close. They don't need to fight for a place in anyone's life. Instead, they create a space for themselves, and people naturally want to be part of it. Number 7, they can switch to predator mode instantly. A Sigma female is calm, composed, and unbothered until she has a reason not to be. She doesn't seek conflict. She doesn't thrive on drama. And she certainly doesn't waste energy on petty battles. But make no mistake, peaceful doesn't mean harmless. Most people assume that because she's quiet, she's passive. That because she avoids unnecessary conflict, she won't defend herself when necessary. That's their first mistake. A Sigma female isn't a loud fighter, she's a silent strategist. She doesn't lash out in emotional outbursts or play childish revenge games. If she's forced to act, she does it with surgical precision, removing problems at their root. In business, this means she's not someone to underestimate. She watches, she learns, and when the time is right, she makes moves that others never saw coming. While others are busy proving themselves, she's already 10 steps ahead, executing a plan she never felt the need to announce. In social circles, she's not the type to engage in gossip or power struggles. But if someone tries to manipulate or undermine her, she won't argue. She'll quietly dismantle their influence until they have no power left. She doesn't play dirty, but she plays smart. In personal life, she gives people plenty of chances. She's patient. She's understanding. But she's not naive. If someone continuously disrespects her, she won't warn them twice. She'll cut them off so cleanly they'll wonder if they ever existed in her world at all. This ability to switch to predator mode instantly is what makes her both respected and feared. She's not out looking for war. But if war finds her, she doesn't just survive, she dominates. And when it's over, she won't gloat. She won't explain. She won't even acknowledge it. Because for a Sigma female, true power isn't about proving a point. It's about making sure the point never has to be proven again. Number 8. They see relationships as additions, not necessities. Sigma females have a completely different outlook on relationships than most. While many nice girls view relationships as something they need in order to feel complete or validated, Sigma females see them as an addition, not a necessity. They're already whole and content with themselves, so they don't rely on someone else to fill an emotional void. For a Sigma female, a relationship isn't about seeking approval or validation. She doesn't chase after love, nor does she tolerate drama or nonsense just to keep someone around. She's already living a full life, one that's rich with purpose, goals, and fulfillment. A relationship for her is a bonus, not a lifeline. She doesn't need anyone to complete her because she's already whole. This perspective changes everything. She doesn't settle for unhealthy dynamics or beg someone to stay. If a person isn't adding value to her life, whether that's through mutual respect, growth, or shared happiness, she won't hesitate to walk away. She doesn't have time for half-hearted connections that drain her or hold her back. What's refreshing about the Sigma female's approach is her complete emotional independence. She enjoys having meaningful connections, but they're never about filling a void or seeking external approval. She doesn't measure her worth by the relationships she has because she understands that her self-worth is inherent. It comes from within, not from someone else's affection. This doesn't mean Sigma females don't value relationships. They just don't put them on a pedestal. They understand that people come and go, and they're okay with that. The right people will complement her life, not consume it. She's not afraid of being alone because she knows she's never truly alone. She's always growing, evolving, and shaping her own destiny. And anyone who's meant to be part of that journey will add to her life in ways that are meaningful, not draining. Number 9, they aren't afraid to be the villain. Sigma females have a mindset that's completely different when it comes to how they're perceived. They aren't afraid to be the villain if it means standing up for themselves. Unlike the nice girls who go out of their way to make sure everyone likes them, Sigma females aren't interested in playing the role of the good girl just to fit in. If speaking their truth or asserting their boundaries makes them the bad guy in someone else's story, they're perfectly fine with that. What's fascinating is how Sigma females own their stance without hesitation or regret. They know that integrity doesn't always win popularity contests. In fact, sometimes doing the right thing or standing firm in their beliefs will make people uncomfortable or upset. But here's the thing. Sigma females don't need everyone's approval to feel good about themselves. They're not chasing validation or trying to win favor. They'd rather be seen as bad by others than compromise their values just to be liked. Being misunderstood doesn't bother them because they're clear about their own intentions and actions. They know who they are and they're not afraid to challenge norms or expectations if it means staying true to themselves. They're not interested in performing for anyone's comfort or playing a role that doesn't align with their authentic self. If they have to be the villain to protect their peace or stand up for what's right, they'll do it, and they'll do it without looking back. This kind of bravery comes from an inner strength that most people struggle to understand. Sigma females are secure enough in their identity to know that their value doesn't come from how others see them, but from how they see themselves. They don't let society's ideas of good and bad dictate their actions. Instead, they make choices that align with their integrity, no matter what anyone else thinks. And that's what truly sets them apart. Number 10, they hold themselves to higher standards than society expects. Society has a way of telling women exactly how they should behave. Smile more, be agreeable, don't make waves. Nice girls are often rewarded for playing by these rules, for making themselves small so others can feel big, for putting everyone else's needs ahead of their own. But a Sigma female isn't here to be molded. She's here to build herself. She doesn't live by the expectations others place on her. She doesn't soften her voice to avoid making people uncomfortable, and she doesn't lower her standards just to fit in. While others are busy trying to be liked, she's focused on being respected, and that's a completely different game. Her standards aren't about perfection. They're about self-respect, growth, and authenticity. She expects more from herself than society ever will. which is why she doesn't waste time proving her worth to people who don't see it. While nice girls often tolerate mediocrity in relationships, friendships, and careers just to avoid conflict, a Sigma female would rather walk alone than settle for anything beneath her standards. This is what confuses people. They see her confidence and mistake it for arrogance. They see her independence and assume she doesn't care. But the truth is, she simply refuses to betray herself just to make others comfortable. She holds herself to a higher standard in everything. How she thinks, how she moves, and who she allows in her life. If someone can't meet those standards, she doesn't lower them. Instead, she moves forward without hesitation. And that's why she stands out. In a world that rewards women for being easygoing and agreeable, she dares to demand more from herself and everyone around her. Not because she's difficult, not because she's trying to prove a point, but because she knows her worth and refuses to live beneath it. In a world that often rewards conformity and pleasing others, Sigma females choose a different path. They aren't here to meet everyone's expectations or fit into a mold. Instead, they live by their own rules, guided by strength, self-respect, and authenticity. They've learned that being nice for the sake of it can lead to compromising their peace, their values, and their sense of self. And they're not willing to trade any of that for acceptance. Each reason we've explored shows that Sigma females are unafraid to stand apart. Not because they want to cause disruption, but because they refuse to shrink themselves to please others. They don't let society's expectations dictate their behavior, and they don't apologize for putting themselves first. If you want to walk through life with power, integrity, and a sense of freedom, take a page from the Sigma female playbook. Be unapologetically yourself, and never let anyone make you feel less than what you are. Remember, being nice isn't the same as being genuine. You don't need to prove your worth by constantly seeking validation. True strength comes from embracing who you are, unapologetically and without fear. Sigma females don't chase approval. They attract respect through their actions, their boundaries, and their unwavering confidence. So, if you've ever felt like you don't fit into the nice girl box, take it as a sign that you're on the right track. You're not meant to be like everyone else. Like a Sigma female, embrace your uniqueness. Stand tall in your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Your authenticity is your superpower. Keep owning your story because the world doesn't need more nice girls. It needs more bold, fearless, and unshakable women who know their worth. Thanks for watching, Spicy Ladies. See you in our next video. Bye for now and God bless.